Hello guys, Tomek from Cubist here, and today I wanted to discuss an interesting question that has been asked in the cubing community for a while now since the Bluetooth cubes have appeared on the market. So basically the question is it fair to compare Bluetooth cube times to keyboard or StackMat times? So we are used to using keyboards and StackMats to time our solves. StackMats are used in official WCA competitions and keyboards are usually used when we cube at home. But Bluetooth cubes allow us to measure the solve time without using any of those external devices. So we can just start measuring the solve time when we execute the first turn of the Bluetooth cubes, and we can stop measuring the time when the cube is solved, basically. So a lot of cubers have been asking themselves, what kind of a difference is there between the two ways of measuring the solve time? So Cubist is in this unique position that uh, I have a lot of data in the database from hundreds of thousands of solves done using Bluetooth cubes, using different timing methods. So I can actually compare those different timing methods quantitatively, and we'll see what the difference is. So here in the table you can see the sum of pickup and put down times for different timing methods and for different solved times. So you can see, for example, here that for really fast cubers who solve under 10 seconds, the sum of pickup and put down times when they use a keyboard is 437 milliseconds. Okay, and as you can see, moving slightly to the right, those times are getting slower and slower. So if we look at the graph here, we can actually see a visual representation of this. So the first thing that stands out here is that pickup and put down times decrease along with overall solve time. So it's not like everybody gets fast at picking up and putting down the cube at around, let's say, 30 seconds and just stays there. It's actually that everybody keeps getting faster and faster. And if you look at the graph, there's around 1 second difference in pickup plus put down time between top cubers and 30-second solvers. So the first observation we can make here is that the slower you are, the bigger is the difference in absolute time between measuring your time using a Bluetooth cube and measuring time using an external device. Because obviously for a Bluetooth cube, pickup and put down times are 0. So when you're a 60-second solver, there's around 1 to 1.5 second difference in times you would get using Bluetooth cube and when measuring using a keyboard. The second interesting observation we can make here is that StackMat is a bit slower than keyboard and touchscreen measurements, but not by as much as one might think. So for the fastest cubers, there is around 100 millisecond difference, maybe, more or less. It's a little bit bigger for the slowest cubers, but still, I guess we can say it's a little bit more fair to compare keyboard and StackMat times than Bluetooth and other timing methods. So I guess what's the main takeaway from here is that even for fastest cubers, the difference is still pretty significant. For fastest cubers, it's around 500 milliseconds. And if we look at the next graph, it actually shows the sum of pickup and put down times as a percentage of overall solve time. And you can see the slowest cubers on the right here and fastest cubers on the left. So you can see that the faster you get as a speed cuber, the bigger is the percentage of pickup and put down times as a percentage of your overall solve time. So the faster you are, the less meaningful it is, I would argue, to compare Bluetooth cube times and keyboard or StackMat times. So based on those numbers themselves, is it fair to compare the two types of solve times? So Bluetooth cube times and keyboard or StackMat times. Of course, it depends on the context and how serious you are in a given context. But if you are serious, if you want to compare your personal best from one timing method to another timing method, I would argue no, it's not fair to compare those solves from those two timing methods. The difference is just too big, especially if you're a faster cuber. You can just drop a big percentage of your solve time just changing to a different timing method. Now, Bluetooth cubes and measuring the solve time using a Bluetooth cube has even more issues than just the difference from pickup and put down times. For example, if you think about it, at the end of the solve, you don't have to worry about the adjustment of the upper face, the last one turn of the solve that is sometimes needed after you do a PLL or whatever the last phase of your solve is. What you can do at the end of the solve is actually just do a U3 move, because that will guarantee that at some point, at least for a split second, the cube will be solved. And actually, a couple of Cubist users have reported to me that they have developed this nasty habit of just doing U3 at the end of the solve, not even looking what the AUF turn that is required to solve the cube needs to be. They just do U3 and that's it. Obviously, that's gonna end very badly for you if you develop that habit and start doing that at official WCA competitions. Another thing is you can prepare better for finger tricks at the start of your solve if you can just grab the cube using your both hands before you start the solve. Obviously, that's not possible with keyboard and StackMat, so you gain a little bit of an extra advantage here as well. And one important thing to understand is Bluetooth is an imperfect technology. First and foremost, it's a wireless technology, so it's very susceptible to connectivity issues. Those can easily affect the time of a given turn being registered by a few hundred milliseconds. Of course, it depends on the software that is connecting to the cube, and it depends on the cube itself. But if you're a top level cuber, you can't afford your final turn of the solve to be registered, 300 milliseconds after it was actually done, which can easily happen in some configurations of cubing software and Bluetooth cube. A lot of people seem to think that Bluetooth cubes one day will be used in official competitions. And this will probably never happen. Why? Because the device that is used to measure the solve time has to be provided by competition organizers. It cannot be provided by the cuber himself. Simply because the cuber could tamper with the device ahead of time, and that could affect the solve time. He could basically just cheat. So imagine Usain Bolt showing up at the start of his 100-meter sprint and announcing to everybody, please use the stopwatch that I brought here with me to measure my sprint time. That's obviously ridiculous. We don't know what he has done to that stopwatch before the competition, and that would not be a fair result. And the same, of course, applies to Bluetooth cubes, right? Those are easily to tamper with. Those are easy to tamper with and very susceptible to cheating. All right, so I hope that has shed some more light on the issue. And thank you for watching, and see you guys in the next video.